Hello and welcome to Lauren's Legends. I am very excited that you are here and that I am here. This is my first YouTube video and I hope to have many more and that you will follow me on this journey with me. I'm going to be trying to post as many as I can in October. It's spooky season, one of my favorite times of the year. I've always been extremely interested in the things unknown. I love mysteries because I like puzzles. I love putting the pieces together and seeing the end result. And a lot of the things that we are going to talk about, we don't have the puzzle pieces to them. And that just draws me to it so much. So today we are going to go through top 4 urban legends in North Carolina. I actually live in the mountains of North Carolina, not very far from Asheville. There's a lot of cryptic creatures around here, Bigfoot, things like that, and a lot of ghost stories, all of the above, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to get right into it. Thank you so much. The first story that we are going to go over today is the Brown Mountain Lights. It is an area called the Linville Mountain Gorge that is absolutely beautiful. A lot of families go there and camp and have been said to have seen them. There's hundreds of witnesses to this. There's many pictures that have been shown on the news channel, and the locals say that they can be whites, reds, or blue hues of the lights that will be shine up on the ridge. Sometimes they look like they dance around. Sometimes they look like they're floating into the ground. And I remember as a little kid growing up knowing about them. The best time of the year you're supposed to be able to see them is in November when it gets chillier outside and the air is crisp. So many people came forward as witnesses saying that they had seen them that they actually began getting scientists out here and doing any kind of experiment that they possibly could. And to this day, no true answer has ever been found. The U.S. Geological Services came out and did their investigations. They thought that they were headlights that had been refracting from the valley up into the ridge, but that was disproved as well. Other scientists came out, thought maybe it was static electricity with a quartz in the rock that was creating the lights. That was disproven. Then many people around the entire country came out and thought that maybe it was UFOs set up and couldn't prove it was UFOs either. Now, if you don't know anything about this area, one of the biggest things that you can learn from this is that we have huge history of the Cherokee Indian tribes. And a lot of these grounds have Indian burial grounds and battles have been fought. And one of the biggest ever fought was between the Cherokee and the Catawba tribe. And it was fought in 1200 AD in that Linville Gorge. Hundreds of people were killed. And it is said today that it is the Indian women out searching for their loves with their torches. And when people have seen it, they've also heard wailing footsteps as if they are just going across the mountain ridge looking for their love. In 1867, Joe Baldwin was riding in the last car of a wood-burning train. As they were coming into a small station called Farmer's Turnout right outside of Wilmington, North Carolina, he noticed that his car had come detached from the rest of the train. Quickly after that terrifying realization of noticing that, he saw another train coming. He began jumping up frantically and yelling and screaming and waving his lantern back and forth. Unfortunately, the train did not see him and the train collided with his cart. He met a very brutal ending where his head was separated from his body. But a witness saw his lantern miss the wreck, fly up into the air, land flat, still burning. Since 1867, witnesses still continue to see a light float through the air with a mass behind it, and they believe that it is Joe out there looking for his severed head. It is something that the locals have been able to capture on footage. And many ghost hunters go out there and do their investigations, and there was a picture that was taken that looked like a headless apparition holding a lantern. Even in 1867, President Grover Cleveland was traveling through the area and stopped at the same train station. He was alone, looking out over one of the rails while they were refilling everything they needed in their train, and he happened to see it. Frantically, he came out and asked if anybody else had, and no one had. but the president had seen it and it affected him for the rest of his life, and he was known to talk about what he had seen. Our third video today is the Devil's Tramping Ground, which honestly is one of my favorites. I just think it's a fun legend. The Devil's Tramping Ground is located right outside Silver City in western Chatham County, North Carolina. It is an area inside of a deep forest where there is a footpath that is a foot wide and it is 40 feet around. It is a circle that inside of it only scraggly grass grows, but on the actual footpath, nothing grows there. The locals have tried to go in, take turf, plant it, it always dies. The legend actually is that every single night, Satan comes out and walks the path over and over and over, contemplating all of his evil deeds and how he can create more. Local kids have gone out there at night and placed sticks and all kinds of things on the actual path, but in the morning somehow they're always moved and they're no longer on the path. The odd thing about this is everywhere on the outside, things grow just fine, flourish even. Just beautiful, lush forest, but just nothing in that path. Another legend is that the Cherokee tribes in that area use that plot of land for their ceremony dances, and that the ground is sacred, so it won't grow anything where they did those dances. But to this day, when people go and visit that forest, and again, it does have beautiful paths all through it, they will walk into it and see where there might be a Satanist shrine or evidence of rituals that are being done. Again, many scientists from all over the area have come and done their own experiments, and the only thing that they can find that is different in that soil is that there is a higher concentration of salt. We have a lot of salt mills in the area, so that's not anything that's really abnormal to have on the ground. But it is very strange that over hundreds and hundreds of years, nothing will grow in that foot-wide path. This is our fourth and final story for today, and this is called The Beast of Bladenboro. This one was a doozy for me. I have lived here for 25 years of my life, and I have never heard about this until doing my research, and this one stuck with me. I have investigated crazy stories of UFOs and animal mutilation and things like that over the years, and if you are like me and it's hard to hear about dogs or anything like that getting harmed, feel free to skip over this video, but it is something that is crazy. In the winter of 1953 to 1954, it is reported that a cat-like beast terrorized the city of Bladenboro, North Carolina. The first report started on December 29th, 1953, where people saw a huge black, sleek-like, 5-foot-long, cat-like animal attack and end a dog. Then on December 29th, 1953, 2 dogs were brutally attacked and killed, and the owner reported that the dogs had brutally been ripped apart and drained of their blood. January 1st, 1954, 2 more were reported to have been killed. Again, on January 2nd, another. On January 3rd, another 2. At that time, an autopsy was performed on one of the ones that had been killed, and it was found that it had been drained of its blood, and it was found that some of it looked surgical, even though there was teeth mark on everything. Then January 5th, it was a rabbit that had no head attached to it. Then January 7th, another dog. And then the last one at that time was a goat was found with its head flattened. And again, I don't know of a cat that would kill in that way. Of course, at this time, the entire city was devastated, scared, panicked, and just like me, if something was out harming dogs, I would join a party and I would go out after it. And they did, and they found huge cat-like footprints. The man leading the search party was the police chief, Ray Force, and he reported that his dogs, his search dogs, wouldn't even follow the smell because they were too terrified. He couldn't get them to go no matter what he did, which that had never happened. They had gone out searching for bears and mountain lions, but for something about this animal, they would not go after it. The first search party had 500 people in it. The second search party, the next day, had 800 people in it. And then the very next day, it is reported that they had over 1,000 people from the city join the team and go into the forest and start hunting. Now, obviously, that many people, a small forest, everybody is up and on edge. The police chief was very scared that people were going to accidentally hurt each other, which I think is a very good thought. So he decided to end it. It was very interesting because at that time, the mayor had some friends that were hunters and they went out and started killing bobcats. I'm from around here, and bobcats are this big. They're not that big. They're not that scary. I'm sure they can cause some harm to small animals, but everybody to that point had reported massive paw prints, everything. That does not add up to be a bobcat, but they did go out there and they started finding bobcats and taking them out of the equation. Then the mayor stood up and said it was over. And the interesting thing is the killings did stop. They did stop until 50 years later in 2006, and the same types of killings began to happen again. It was shorter this time, but over a 3-week span, there were several animals in the same city that reported having the same kind of injuries. And to this day, there's never been anything that has concluded on why or what caused them. So those are my 4 stories. Please feel free to reach out and let me know what you thought. Again, I'm starting this. It's going to be a journey. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what y'all want to hear more of. Thank you for sitting with me, and have a wonderful day.